everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Sony E3 press conference and some of my thoughts about what Sony did. But before I jump in, like I did with the Microsoft impressions, I'm gonna talk a little bit about two other games that were mentioned that were not from the Sony conference that I thought were awesome. The first one was South Park: The Fractured But Whole. That's right. Man, I can't wait. This time they're using a superhero motif. The trailer was absolutely hysterical, and I can't wait because the Stick of Truth was absolutely brilliant. I laughed so hard during so many portions of that game, it was unbelievable. And I cannot wait for it. And the other one that looks absolutely awesome is a platforming game called Unraveled. And man, it looks sick. Absolutely sick. It's got like photorealistic graphics for the backgrounds, and you're just like a little yarn dude who's going around and he's slowly unraveling. It looks absolutely amazing. If you haven't taken a look at that yet, go ahead and go to YouTube. Well, you're on YouTube. Download the trailer or check out the trailer. Looks sick. So that's that for those two. Now I want to talk about Sony in particular and their press conference. So this press conference I watched sort of live. I was helping Serena's father with a computer problem, so he was over and I lost track of time, and you know, like it was one of those things. And so I missed the whole beginning with any blah 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 blahing, but what I did catch was like perfect timing. So I had my iPhone just on the corner as I was working on his computer, and I was glancing over, and it starts with The Last Guardian, right? And right there, symbolically, to me, I was like, you know, that is really interesting. Because Sony did not need to make The Last Guardian. Let's be honest. Is that game going to sell 10 million units? I really doubt it. I really doubt it. Because it's not the type of game that would have necessarily have mainstream appeal. Like, as much as everyone loves Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, those are not exactly the highest selling video games in history. And so this was done purposely for fan service. Whoever or whomever they have running the PlayStation division right now in their respective fields. So like the person who's responsible for third-party development, the person who's responsible for first-party titles, etc., etc., etc. Everyone has been kicking ass over there as of late because, my goodness, this press conference was really something. I wasn't all, you know, super successful. I'm really still not feeling the whole Morpheus thing. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. The whole VR thing as a whole, I'm just not, it's interesting, but I'm not convinced as of yet. The closest was the HoloLens from Microsoft because I can see real-world applications for this that could be really, really unique. Anyway, so The Last Guardian, it's back, it's alive, it's coming out next year, and I'm really happy because I'm a really big fan. I cannot remember his name right now. The man that's behind Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, and this looks just phenomenal. They showed like a gameplay session where you're using your little Banum guy is going along, and you use the big creature to sort of help out, and the two of you guys work on puzzles together to keep, you know, making progress. Anyways, it looks amazing. It looks beautiful, and it's amazing to see that it's back. That was really really something. Other things, this one again, like what I said with Microsoft, I'm not going to go through every single thing, just stuff that was interesting to me. So, something interesting, a symbolic change. And I thought it was really weird with Microsoft that they didn't open with Call of Duty. It's like, that's their thing. And then to see Black Ops 3 debut at the Sony conference, that surprised me. And then they were saying that all DLC would hit PlayStation first, and that to me is a real symbolic change of the times because the PlayStation 4 is outselling the Xbox One by almost a factor of 2 to 1. It's not quite, So obviously they were able to flex their muscle and get Activision on board. To me, I stopped playing Call of Duty now for a long time, so this doesn't really make much of an impact on me. But again, it's the symbolism. This is a symbolic change of saying that, you know, like now we are on top of the North American market, and I thought that was, again, I thought that was interesting. Let's see. What do we got? There was this Firewatch game where you play as like a ranger or something at a national park, and you're getting instructions through a radio. And conceptually, the trailer, check it out. It actually looked really, really interesting because you're being fed like information. You know, like go here, go there, and you get to this one spot, and they're like, "Hey, why are you in the watchtower right now? I told you to go somewhere else." And you're like, "No, I'm exactly where you are, like where you told me to go." And they're like, "No, you're not. I see, you know, someone at base camp is just dinged something," and you're like, "Who could it be?" Do 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 do. So just very, very unique. You know, you don't get to be like a ranger very often in a video game. So just thought that was neat. Street Fighter V, I thought it was kind of interesting that it was completely glossed over. Like you just got like one very brief trailer and then pop, 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 next, and that was weird. I thought, because I understand that, you know, Street Fighter is catered towards a specific crowd, and that crowd knows everything about the game already. Well, as much as there is to know. But I just thought it was really unique that they wouldn't have spent any amount of time really on the game, because it is an exclusive. They're helping to fund the game. That's not going anywhere else except for on PC. So that was unusual, I thought. They shifted gears, which I thought was cool, on first party. Really, primarily. And that new game from Guerrilla Games, which was Horizon... What the hell is it called? Oh, I don't know. I didn't write it. Just Horizon something. That looks really good, man. Just graphically, the graphic fidelity looks really, really good. Like everything is smooth. When your character goes through, say, bushes or whatever, they all move and everything. Like it looked damn good. And you're fighting these robot dinosaurs, and right away it sort of, because of the robots, reminded me of Microsoft's Recore. But the difference here was that it was 100% in-game, and the guy's like going and actually playing and aiming and, you know, like whatever. It wasn't just a trailer, and looks good. I'm kind of excited for that, and that's going to hit, I believe it's next year as well. See, this was the difference between Microsoft and Sony. Microsoft was like, this is what we have, and this is what's coming. With Sony, it was primarily, this is what's coming. There were only a few things that were like, hey, this is what we have, which I think has been glossed over a lot because of the things I'm about to get to, which sort of destroyed the whole planet here. The internet exploded. So, Media Molecule, when they came out, I don't know, I mean, their new game Dreams, where it's like a creation game and then you share your stuff, I don't know. From what I saw, I was just like, okay, alright, maybe that's just me. But let's get to the point that the internet exploded here, and that's how I'm going to end this one off. So, first off, I was already shocked that The Last Guardian actually exists, because, like I said, was completely unnecessary. They didn't need to do that at all. But that was fan service. That game is strictly being made for the fans. This is, at this point in time, that could have easily been canceled and the funds reallocated somewhere else. But the fact that they're actually making it is pretty shocking. And then they showed, there was a segment where they showed Final Fantasy Worlds, like this cutesy Final Fantasy game coming to PS4 and the Vita. And everyone, you could sort of feel it in the crowd, where everyone was like, oh boy, here we go, you know, are we ever going to get the game that we want? And shockingly, the next game they announce is indeed the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I gotta admit, I was working on the computer, right? And so I see the live stream, and right away I'm like, click, 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 and I just stop, and I'm looking over at my iPhone, and they show the trailer, and I just put my hands down, and I'm watching the trailer, and at first I thought the trailer was very unusual. It's not the way I would have done the trailer, at first. I've watched it about 100,000 times already, and now I like it, because the voiceover is essentially saying, like, you know, you have every right to be afraid, you don't know what's going to come of what we're doing, but yeah, we are doing it. And the end where you see Barrett and you see Cloud walking, and you get like it turns white, and you just see Cloud, the back of Cloud. That reminded me so much of the original Final Fantasy VII, where you're just standing there and you've got the white backdrop. I was like, I like geeked out basically, and it was funny because Serena's here, her father's here, and I'm like, oh my god! Like, I just totally lost it. I was like, holy crap, no way! And it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. I was just floored because it was like, it's actually coming. They're actually making a Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, mind blown. And no matter what you think of Final Fantasy VII, it was like, it's one of the legacy games that no one ever thought was going to happen. There's Half-Life 3, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Shenmue 3. Those three games, essentially, they're like mythical at this point, that like they're never going to happen. Never. To get one of those crossed off the list, man, I was shocked. Ahmed and I were both like on Facebook like, oh my god, can you believe it? Oh my god. And I still can't believe it. I have no idea when that game is going to come, because Final Fantasy VII was a monstrous game. It's huge. And it is a complete remake, which means most likely they're going to cut a lot of stuff. They're most likely going to alter a whole bunch of stuff, and well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, obviously I'm a little bit nervous because it's such a classic game, at least to me it was. And I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to harp on this forever. I don't want the video to be 40 minutes, but yeah, I mean, you got to talk about this. This was, when they announced that, I was like, well, that's it. You know, they got E3, they just won E3, that's it. Like, it doesn't matter what it, like, Microsoft's conference was phenomenal. They did an incredible job. But you just announced not only that The Last Guardian is alive and that essentially it's just a fan service game, but you just announced that Final Fantasy VII Remake would be happening, and it's coming first to PlayStation 4. That was that. Like, for me, that was that. So, I was freaking out. I couldn't even work on the computer anymore because I was like totally geeking out. I was like, oh my god, like I can't believe it, you know, and then I'm on Facebook and this and that and everything else. And keep in mind, the iPhone is still going, right? So there's something else, I have no idea what was in between these announcements. And then I hear the music to Shenmue. And I just like stopped. I just stopped, completely stopped, and was like, there's no way. And I turn and I look at the phone, and it's saying like the story of Shenmue, whatever the trailer was that they showed. And I was like, what? I'm like, that's impossible. I'm like, I just said the three like mythical games that would never come out were Half-Life 3, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Shenmue 3. They crossed off one of the three. But to cross off two in the same night, almost back-to-back announcements, I was absolutely floored. And here's the thing with Shenmue, okay? I was utterly blown away when I first played Shenmue. Unlike the thousands of you out there, millions, billions, who adore everything about the game, I actually thought it was very slow. When I first played the game, like I was totally hooked. I was totally enthralled. But it lost some of the, I don't know, I thought it was a very slow game when I originally played it. I've come to appreciate it more in the last year and a half to 2 years, mainly because of Adam Korlick. He won't shut up about the game. So I was like, you know what, I want to go back, and I think it was last year, I don't think it was this year, I think it was late last year, I went back with the Dreamcast version, and I went through it again. And I've come to appreciate it a lot more now than I have ever before. And I really I would like to play through the Dreamcast version of Shenmue 2. I don't own it, and I would really like to do that. Because I played through the Xbox version like way back when, and the same deal, like it just never really hooked me like it did so many other people. But I've come to appreciate it a lot more in recent time. But that is totally irrelevant because that's my take on this. The fact is that when that news was announced that they were going to do a Kickstarter for it and that this was the venue where they announced it, I was just like, what the hell is going on here? Like, just what the hell? Because this is like, my mind was blown, and everything else they had after that, I don't recall anything. I really don't. I just recall the very end because it's the game that I'm the most excited for the entire generation right now, and that is Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. It was funny, you know it was a live demonstration because it crashed, and well, I don't know if it crashed or if they couldn't get the controller to work. Something happened, so they reset it, and man, it looks sick. It looks so sick. I'm done now with Uncharted 4. I saw all I wanted to see. I've seen the gameplay. I've seen, I saw the debut trailers. Now I'm done. I don't want to see any more until the game comes out. Slide that difficulty slider all the way to hard, and like, let's do this. And yeah, that's it. So, okay, overall, I mean, how can anyone knock that conference? Maybe there were some slow parts in the middle, or honestly, all I remember right now is Last Guardian is real. Final Fantasy VII Remake is real. Shenmue III is happening. It's already been well funded on Kickstarter, way over $3 million at this point when I do this video. And Uncharted 4 looks godly. So, I mean, they won E3. I don't think there's any question about that. Just those two announcements alone of Final Fantasy VII and Shenmue III would have done it. And now the fact that, that it was a really good show. I mean, between Microsoft and Sony, man, the two of them, they just dominated. Anyways, guys, that video is longer than I wanted to make it, but I had to talk about Final Fantasy VII and Shenmue. I mean, I'm still in shock over those two announcements. So I will put a link to in the description below to the Shenmue Kickstarter if you guys are interested in supporting it, but I'm pretty sure by now you most likely already have. Anyways, guys, so tomorrow we'll tackle Nintendo.